this is Melanie Monroe, and this is my exclusive interview on the John Rare YouTube channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Rare. I am here with the Queen, Melanie Monroe. How are you doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm representing my new religion shirt. You may not be able to see it right now, but it's on, trust me. So, you're the new Queen of IWA Deep South and, from what I've heard, the Carolinas. How did you get started in the business exactly?
I was actually, I started off as like a wrestling fan, and then I started managing someone he's actually retired now, King Jeremy Snaker. I was his manager in $5 wrestling, and then I became his manager in IWA. And from there, I kind of just went up and learned from him, and just kind of learned around the locker room, and learned from watching, people practice and everything. And from there, I just kind of split off on my own once he retired.
So, as a young lady watching wrestling, who was your favorite one to watch?
I would have to say, female-wise, it would be Lita. And if I was going to go with the guys, Jeff Hardy was always someone that I really admired in the ring. He was really charismatic, and he was a really big risk taker. And Lita was pretty much the same way, charismatic and risk taker.
So you were a Team Extreme girl. I can respect that. I enjoyed them as well. I was a big Jeff Hardy mark. I'm not going to make this about me, of course, but I have been very vocal about Jeff Hardy's, substance and drug abuse, and that's actually what turned me off on Jeff Hardy. I'm no longer a Hardy fan, but we're not going to discuss that. We're talking about you, Melanie.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily support what he does now, but when I was younger, before I really understood everything that he was actually doing, I fully supported him, and then as I've gotten older, I've kind of gotten away from being a Jeff Hardy fan. I'm still a Lita fan, but I've gotten away from being a Jeff Hardy fan.
So, real quick on the Lita thing, what do you think about the heel turn by Trish Stratus this past Raw?
That wasn't exactly, surprising. I think when she came back, in general, when she came back into WWE, to me, she was already giving off heel vibes. She wasn't really being, crowd-friendly. So it wasn't exactly surprising, but, it would make sense, for them to start kind of a feud. It seems like maybe between her and Becky Lynch, because they've got some legends doing feuds with, more recent, younger generation superstars, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is my personal opinion. I think they're pushing for Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch at SummerSlam, and eventually they'll probably set up a Lita Trish Stratus match either at SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, or Mania. That's my opinion on what they're doing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking potentially a Backlash match. Or something along those lines, SummerSlam, maybe give them a little longer to build up the feud. But it's definitely going to be an interesting match whenever they do officially set a day for that match on a card.
So at $5 wrestling, who would you say was your favorite person there on that roster?
Let's see, $5 wrestling, Freight Train, he was super nice. Little Donnie, he was pretty cool. Mr. Thunderbolt, he was nice. But probably Freight Train, simply because he was just literally the nicest person I've ever met. He was the biggest guy there, but he the biggest, tallest guy aside from Big Donnie. He was the biggest guy there, but he was just the sweetest person, just so sweet and so respectful, and definitely someone that my kids looked up to when we would go to the shows. They really liked him.
Yeah, Freight Train is an awesome human being. I've said it a million times that if I wouldn't leave Kevin Brandon alone in a room with Freight Train.
Yeah, definitely not.
So once you made your way down to Georgia, you debuted in IWA Deep South at the, if I'm correct, at the Angel of Death tournament as the valet for King Jeremy, right?
Yeah, I was still his manager, and I was pregnant at that time. I was about 2 months pregnant with Oliver.
Yeah, I remember that now because I remember us having a conversation about something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was about you wrestling, and then I found out you was pregnant.
Right, yeah. There was several people that had talked to me about it backstage, and I had to tell every one of them that I was pregnant because they were like, "Have you ever considered getting into the ring? Have you ever thought about it?" And I had, it's been something I've wanted to do since I was a little girl, and just couldn't at that. Unfortunately, at that time, couldn't do it because I was pregnant. And then not long after that, King Jeremy and myself both took a leave of absence from wrestling to take time off to celebrate the birth of Oliver, and also just to try to, figure out. He was a new parent, and I was more experienced, but he was trying to, kind of get his footing around being a parent. And that's not really something he could do while he was in the ring, and he didn't want to risk his safety while he was trying to learn how to become a parent.
Now, did Oliver come before or after the boxing match with Raider Rock?
Let me see.
Because I know you valeted him to the ring that night too, but I just can't remember.
I believe I was still pregnant. I want to say I was still pregnant.
So that was your.
So that would have been the last one. That would have been when he took his leave of absence. I got my timeline mixed up. Yeah, after that would have been when he took his leave of absence.
If anybody knows me, my head is full of useless wrestling knowledge. So okay, after that is, I'm pretty sure that's 100% correct because after that, Jeremy Snaker did not return to IWA Deep South or $10 Wrestling or any of the other sister organizations that Kevin's created. And
I believe he's wrestling. He has wrestled. From my knowledge, he's wrestled at a different company in here in North Carolina. I'm not exactly sure what the name of the company is or anything, but I do. He did tell me probably about a month or two ago that he did return and do a match, but he hasn't wrestled since then.
And then let's see. Was you at? Okay, now I'm not the best at this, but let's see. IWA Resurrection, I believe, would have been the next show. Is that right? Because we had Resurrection. I'm trying to remember the one before that. You may have been on that one too. Because you had a 3-way match with Tracy, Taylor, and I believe her name was Spiral?
Trixie.
Tracy,
Taylor, and Trixie.
And how'd you feel about that match?
Going into that was kind of intimidating, honestly, because I've seen Trixie in ring, and Tracy Taylor, she's obviously, a veteran, so I've seen her matches as well. I definitely watched some of their matches prior to our match, so I could kind of get an idea of who my opponents were and what kind of things they were comfortable doing in the ring. And honestly, I have a lot of respect for both of them. I have a lot of respect for Tracy Taylor, especially. Like I said, she's a veteran. So stepping in the ring with her was intimidating, but also, it's like you step in with someone that's, actually a big name, and it's like kind of like a childhood dream. You're standing across the ring from someone that you have, seen do matches on TV, hold title belts. And it's just, it seems unreal at the time. And then, having to actually compete against her and everything was just, it was amazing. And like I said, I have a lot of respect for both of them. I was definitely sore after that match. For sure. I was definitely sore.
Now, see, I talk about my useless knowledge. I did forget what happened, but now it popped in my head. the previous show was the one that you were supposed to be on, but something happened and you couldn't show. That was the one that it was a 3-on-3 tag match with Misfit being the other lady against the other tag teams, whoever that was. Now, at one point, didn't stuff kind of go off the rails with you and Misfit on online?
At one point, yes. I had, during the time that I was kind of getting my footing, I had some things going on within my home with my children and myself. That was also around the time that COVID was kind of bad again.
Yes.
So I didn't actually get a chance to get into the ring with her, and she more or less took it as I was intimidated by her, and that was definitely not the case. I was not intimidated by her. I had a lot of respect for her up until the point where she had become disrespectful to me. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm not in it for the drama. So I just kind of eliminated myself from the situation. I did make sure to put out there if, it ever came to an event that, me and her were put into a match together, I would be there for it. I've showed up to the last few shows that I've been booked at, so like I said, it definitely wasn't I was intimidated by her, and it's more or less I just don't appreciate the disrespect because I myself would never give that type of disrespect, so I didn't expect to get that type of disrespect from her, especially considering we've never met or even really had a conversation.
Yeah. Now, the show after you and Tracy and Trixie was the now famous Violent Shit Cup. You were in, it was the Battle Royal. I'm not sure what the hell they called it. I know it was...
It was a clusterfuck.
Clusterfuck Battle Royal. And that was all kinds of people like Juicy Bruce, Boris Dookie, Mikey, Adam Worski, 8-Ball. I know there's a bunch of people in there. A lot of them I don't remember. I wasn't in the match. I was just watching it. But, and it was for the title. A brand new title for IWA Deep South. And what's funny is currently, it's the second title right now in IWA. Because IWA Deep South is currently without a heavyweight champion. You have the tag team champions that was crowned the night before. And on this show here, the Violent Shit Cup, what is the name of that title again?
It's the IWA Deep South Underground Television Championship.
Okay. I knew television, but I thought there was something else in there. But the Clusterfuck Battle Royal was for that. Describe going into this, because I know the ring was filled with all kinds of shit, probably, literally, if Boris was there. But, I know there was all kinds of crazy stuff in there.
Oh yeah, there was, I don't know whose idea it was to put Legos in there, but there was Legos, there was, cookie sheet, there was a cookie sheet that had Legos on it, and then there was a giant poop plush, so there was definitely, and then there was a tote that was in there. I don't even know how that got in there. I don't even remember that being put in there. But there was that. There was all kinds of stuff all over the ground. There was Legos. The Legos were just everywhere, so it was impossible, to be able to really keep your footing. So as you're stepping, you're trying not to slip on Legos. You're trying not to slip on a cookie sheet, while you're also trying not to trip over someone that's laid out on these things. So yeah, there was all kinds of stuff in the ring. Yeah.
Now you were one of the final two. Correct me. You were one of the final two in the ring. Wasn't the other one Boris?
It was. Okay. Yeah, we were the last two.
So you eliminated Boris to win the championship. Probably shocked everybody in attendance, and definitely shocked anyone that buys the DVDs on Smart Mark Video or Title Match Network. Support IWA Deep South, LXW, and $10 Wrestling. Cheap plug, Kevin. So, definitely, what would you say to all the haters? Seeing you win and, not supporting you and, not supporting the decision. What would you say to all the haters on that win?
I would say do not bet against your underdog. Just because you have someone going in who is newer and younger, that can actually benefit that person. The fact that I am newer, I am younger, I am faster than anybody else that was in that ring. The only thing that everyone in that ring had on me was experience. I had the speed and everything else. So to everyone that didn't think I could do it, I proved them absolutely wrong. And to everyone that had complete confidence in me, I appreciate you. And from here, I'm just looking to move up, get better, do better. I have nothing against any of the guys that I went against or anything. I look to actually learn from them. Each time I'm in the ring with any of them, I want to learn something from them, and that's something that I take with me to every match. I want to leave the ring I want to leave the ring with a new piece of knowledge each time, something new each time. So as far as winning the title, yeah, I'm sure the odds were probably against me because I was the only female in there also. So that was definitely, against me. And me being newer, that was against me. So all the odds are stacked against me. And to everybody that was hating on me, I came out on top and I proved them wrong.
And that right there has now led to the next show, which I was a big advocate for. I have wanted to see the Softcore Cup III forever, and we finally got a date for the Softcore Cup III, and first rounds are tag matches, then it goes into a singles match, and I think the main event will be a fatal three-way, or I think so. I don't know. That's what.
Yeah, I think it's a fatal three-way. I think on the IWA page, I believe it says a three-way dance or something like that.
Yeah. So you're tagged up with, well, it was supposed to be Adam Worski originally, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Adam Worski. I was actually looking super forward to it. I look up to Adam. But unfortunately, from what I understand, he had to step down. I don't know if he's officially retired or if he's just taking medical leave.
He did officially retire. You can actually watch his retirement speech on my channel from this past weekend or the weekend before. I can't remember. I wrestled Jay Blade in a casket match, but at the beginning of the show, he came out and announced his retirement. They said, I believe it was his 5th concussion, if I'm correct. So definitely time for him to go home to the kiddos and wife.
Yeah, definitely at that point when you have put your body through that much, and now like your physical long-term health is now at risk. Yeah, it's definitely time for you to go home. But I mean that was kind of upsetting to find out that he wasn't going to be my tag team partner. But at the same time, I completely respect it because I would do the same thing. I believe that I'm teamed up with Little Dommy now.
Yes, and y'all. Who are y'all going against? Because I've forgot that too.
Redneck Rebel and I think Super America.
Okay, so that should be a pretty easy night for you. Well, I don't know about Redneck Rebel. He's still itching for a fight. He's still itching to get his name out there in Deep South. He's already got an established name out there in the the East Coast, but in Deep South, he's definitely itching to make his name. So, but I think you've got a damn good partner. So I would have to put the advantage on y'all for that first round. Myself, I'm going to be tagged up with Boris Dookie against Jeff the Shitman Fart and I believe Juicy Bruce, if I'm correct.
I believe that's who you guys are going against, and that's interesting. You guys will have fun with that one.
Well, an interesting fact is Jeff Hart's never beat me, and unfortunately, Juicy Bruce has. And that match is available on my channel. Come check it out. So let's see. Honestly, you're obviously probably going to be the underdog again. And you're definitely not the first woman to go into Softcore Cup. And if you haven't heard about the last women that went into Softcore Cup, it was pure controversy. There was a bra and panties match that was probably considered the worst match in IWA history. So, not the first women.
Yeah, I heard about that. I seen that match for myself. I was like, oh my goodness, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That was definitely a difficult match to watch for sure. That was, yeah, I don't know what that was.
I actually did an interview with Spike Zombie. We talked about it. You know, it was definitely, I think, both of their first match ever. So obviously, you know, we wasn't expecting a Walter match and Gunther match. So,
Right.
So currently, right now, like in all of wrestling, who's your favorite female right now?
I'm gonna have to say probably Rhea Ripley.
Okay.
Rhea Ripley would have to be my go-to girl.
I'm in love with her, so I can't say nothing bad. So, good woman's choice. Who's your favorite male wrestler?
My male wrestler. I'm gonna have to say probably Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes would be my guy.
and trust me, I was pulling for Cody. I really was. The original reason I used to watch AEW was because of Cody. And what's funny is, yes, I wasn't a Cody fan when he left WWE, but you know, when you are established somewhere, just like he was in WWE, you know, you never thought he was going to leave. But when he established, established himself and went out and made himself bigger than WWE did, you never expected all that to happen full circle for him to, you know, come back and be in the main event, you know, re-debuted at WrestleMania, beat Seth Rollins 3 times in a row, injured his pec, of course, but when he came back, he immediately won the Royal Rumble, main evented WrestleMania, and I'll tell you that I believe more than half of the crowd thought he was going to win.
Oh, definitely. I was definitely pulling for it, and it definitely seemed that way. And then, of course, the ending, you can almost guess it. Roman Reigns is going to get that assist, and he's going to retain because it happens. It's become so predictable now that you can almost tell how the end of the match is going to go. And that's kind of where I think, me as a fan, you get bored. You see the same champion for so long and the same type of ending in the match, and it just becomes where you don't really want to watch it because you just know the outcome already.
Yeah, I agree 100% on the endings of it because, you know, Solo, especially Solo, but the Usos as well, which I do love the Bloodline. But like you said, it's predictable. You pretty much know they're going to come in at the end. But Roman Reigns' matches over the past year has been his best work that he's ever put on ever. So to me, that's his saving grace. Because, you know, if that wasn't the case, you know, it'd be the whole thing. He can't win a match by himself.
Right. I mean, he's a good wrestler. It's just, you know, like with the ending of it, like they don't let him win on his own. He always gets the assist. So it kind of, you know, makes it difficult to watch.
What I think's going to happen, this is just an opinion here, but I remember Roman Reigns back in the day never could beat Brock Lesnar. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't beat him. I think it's going to be the same story with Cody Rhodes and Roman, and it's eventually going to happen where Cody finally beats him, either at SummerSlam or possibly Mania again. And, you know, that's just my opinion on what I think's going to happen. So,
I mean, that sounds pretty accurate. I would say I'm going to probably guess SummerSlam. Because I heard rumors about Roman Reigns taking some time off during the summer. I don't know how true that is, but that would make sense if he did defend his title and lose it at SummerSlam. That would give him the opportunity to take some time off. Because, like, as being a champion, you know, he's got to show up to almost, you know, every show that, and not including house shows or anything else they need him to do. So I'm sure that, you know, he doesn't get very much time with his family.
And this is another prediction for me. I believe next year at WrestleMania you will see Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley.
Probably. That would be a good guess. That would definitely be a good guess. I mean, that would be a good match as well, though. It really would.
Well, you know, I thought they were going to set up their rivalry after last year's Royal Rumble when they were the last two in there. And everybody was honestly pushing for Rhea to win it. But, you know, Bianca won. And which I love Bianca. She's a hell of a worker. Like, you know, she's undefeated at WrestleMania, 3-0. But anytime she's basically the female version of John Cena. When it's a big time match, you know she's going to perform, and usually she's going to win.
Right. Yeah, I agree. 100%. I agree.
So right now, like on the women's indie scene, who would be your favorite female wrestler on the indies?
I kind of struggle to follow the indies. At this moment, someone that I find really intriguing would be Trixie. Like, I see her stuff on Facebook and the matches and stuff that she does, and I mean she does some really impressive matches. She's a genuinely good wrestler, I think.
Yeah, she's damn good. She's got a few matches on my channel, of course. What about Jordan Grace? You know her?
I don't. I sure don't.
That's she's in TNA. She's the one that's really muscular right now. Like, she's a bodybuilder, and she's actually dating the ROH former wrestler. Now that Gresham, I think's his name. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to put out fraudulent information here, but she's one of the best women on the the scenes itself. She reminds me of a China in a way. Like, if she was pushed right, she could be China.
Right. Yeah. At one point, when I was a manager in $5, somebody that I really wanted to get in the ring with was Savannah Evans, but she's done moved up to TNA now.
Yeah. What about, does the name
So
Max?
she was someone that I watched.
Max the Impeller? Do you know that one?
I think so. Yeah, I believe so.
She almost, like, she does the Doomsday gimmick almost like Sarah Logan. I know Sarah Logan's doing the Viking gimmick. Max,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
yeah, Max does the like the Doomsday gimmick, and I want to say that she's done a few matches in TNA, if I'm correct. I swear I've seen her in TNA.
I think you're right. I believe you're correct.
So, what would winning the Softcore Cup III mean? Because, I mean, hell, didn't you win the three-way match with the girls, correct?
I did. I pinned Trixie in a roll-up, actually. Tracy and Trixie had both went for a kick, and they both hit their kick on each other, and they both knocked each other out, and then I seized the opportunity.
Okay, so
came in, got my roll-up, and slid out.
So you're undefeated. You're undefeated.
I am undefeated.
In IWA, you are undefeated, so that adds a little bit something extra to you. You're undefeated. You got the championship. Like I said, you've got the only singles championship in IWA, because for those that don't know that are listening, the Slap Fight Championship is actually retired. So, Chewy retired undefeated in the slap fights with that. So you are the only singles champion. So that kind of puts a target on your head.
Yeah, it does. At one point, this was months ago, before Adam Worski retired, he had made the comment towards me about he was going to take my belt this year. And I pretty much told him to bring it on, because I understand that I'm the only female. I understand that, I'm holding a championship belt, and I also understand that, they're not going to look at me any different because I'm a female, because I did step into the ring with men, and I did, I understand I have that target on my back, so that's just where, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer comes in.
Well, Adam definitely won't be taking your belt. The only thing he's going to be taking is some aspirin. I love you, Worski. My kids love Worski. I love Worski. He tried to make me cry in his farewell speech, so I had to look at the cameras really hard and ignore them the best I could. So.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He is a really good guy.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Do you have any final thoughts, or want to say anything to anybody?
Just basically that this year, I walked into it as a champion. I plan on walking out of it as a champion. I'm shooting to win the Softcore Cup. I understand that I am the underdog, and that's fine, because if everyone thinks of me as the underdog, then they don't see me as a threat. But that's also going to be their downfall, is they don't see me as a threat. So just keep your eyes on me for the rest of the year. And I hope to do big things, make big moves, and get my name out there and become more well known.
Well, thank you for joining me, fans. This was my exclusive interview with the Queen, Melanie Monroe. Of course, if you haven't already, subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell for future notifications anytime I upload any new videos, not vehicles. Well, that was a good little mess up.